Hey folks, UltimatDjz here from the Talking Trek podcast with another Star Trek Fleet Command video today on Discovery ArcFall Patch D25 for December of 2020. Contained within is a huge amount of information, so put yourself in a state of calm, in a state of zen, information absorbing zen, and let's begin. First, please subscribe to our channel. What you see here is a very, very good indicator of the type of content we do on this channel. It's super nerdy, analytical, break it down, and facts. So please subscribe for more videos just like this one. Like this video, click the bell notifier for future notifications of our content, and don't forget to leave comments below if you have questions, and we'll answer them as quickly as possible. Folks, Arc 4 brings us a bunch of stuff. We're getting an event store. Yay! We know this because it's the final arc, and we always get event stores in the final arc. And from the 2-year anniversary event, we were granted 37,450 of this upcoming event store currency. We observed that this currency looked a lot like the crossover tokens from a long-lost Mirror event ages and ages ago. So hang on to that for later. But the event store should be coming, and we're excited about that. As of the time of this taping, we haven't yet seen the event store, but we don't expect it to be any different than event stores previously, and are hoping for a few new additions, such as uranium, spore drive components, Discovery and Stella blueprints, as well as all the normal goodies, including epic ship BPs, officer shards, and I'm looking at you, 5 of 10, uncommon and rare materials, as well as resources. Secondly, Arc 4 is bringing us 3 brand spanking new officers. Let's take a look at them right now. And what? As we mentioned just moments ago, the currency looking a lot like crossover currency, and we see here Emperor Georgio, a crossover character. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. Looking forward to the story of this arc if it truly does involve some mirror content, as it's been over a year since we've seen any real mirror stuff. So first, let's take a look at Emperor Georgio. Captain's maneuver. During a takeover, when attacking a player, she's going to decrease the defense of all officers on the opponent's ship by 100%. Now, this is presumably to base, but this could be huge. A decrease of that magnitude could result in bonus drops in the defense category, which will have a significant impact on their mitigation, allowing you to pack more punch in each of your shots. Paired with an officer ability that is new and creative, actually looks like it could be somewhat devastating on the right ship. When attacking a player on a capture node, at the start of battle, she's going to increase the number of shots per weapon by 0.17. Now, this does nothing at Tier 1, Round 1, Round 2 even. But notice it rounds to the nearest whole number. In Round 3, your stack would be 0.51. Rounding up, that means in Round 3 of PvP combat, all of your weapons will now throw 1 extra shot. This gives particular emphasis to ships like the Bortus, which has 3 weapons, but 2 of them are kinetic, or the Sally, where the big gun deals such massive damage. Same for the Gladius, or the Augur with its Obliterator weapon. Imagine 2 Obliterator shots while the enemy ship is burning. Whew, wowzers. This officer ability is actually super interesting to me, and I'm excited to see how it can actually play out. Next officer, Captain Tilly. Captain Tilly. Man, what a hottie. Captain's maneuver. When attacking on a capture node, if your opponent has a hull breach. Hull breach. Interesting. No burning now. This is hull breach. Then she is increasing your total penetration, or your attack stats, by 50% of the defense of all officers on your ship at the beginning of each round. Folks, this is going to drive your opponent's mitigation into the dirt. How long it will take to become effective, we're going to have to test and see. Officer ability. At the start of each round, if the opponent has a hull breach, she's going to increase your mitigation by 50% of the total health on your ship. Again, a cumulative effect, even further widening the gap between your mitigation and your opponent's, giving you a better chance at survival. Remember, this isn't based on stat bonuses of the ship. This is actually increasing your mitigation factors. So go check out the website, shout out from Quirky Zombie, to calculate your mitigation effects if you want to try this officer out. Finally, epic officer Lorca from the Terran Empire, the hull breach officer. Take a look at the captain's ability here, reducing the opponent's weapons damage by 100%, presuming this is a base figure, if there is a hull breach, and he works for that round. But look, he can proc multiple rounds, plus synergy is going to boost him up too. This feels like a crazy good officer, but we're going to have to test and see how much damage is actually reduced. How do you get the hull breach? Of course, the officer ability with a 50% chance to cause it for 2 rounds at the start of the round. Feels an awful lot like Georgio and how we were excited for her, but the captain's maneuver didn't end up doing as much as we had hoped. It didn't really pan out. Lorca may be the same and primarily used as a side card with a critical hit setup. Here's a look at all 3 cards from Elcar so you can see the synergy levels and boost as you promote the officers. Quick note, we are back to independent credits for these 3 new officers. Now, everybody, you have heard the whispers. Panic himself confirmed a new ship is here. On the Talking Trek podcast, we confirmed that it started with the letter S. By the way, shout out to everybody who made that hint go viral. Everybody's talking about the letter S. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the new Klingon Sarcophagus, the ship of the dead from Season 1 of the Discovery TV series. This ship is pure PvP for takeovers. You can see it now flying from dock. Got an interesting look if you compare this with images from the TV show, but do I care how it looks? Not super really. I want to know what it will do, and more importantly, what it's going to cost. Let's start with a few stats and abilities. Tier 1, Level 1. Guys, keep in mind, this is an Ops 31 test account with 0 research. None. Zilch. So the ship power is only 113,000, but you can see the attack section, damage per round at 985 with an emphasis on shield piercing as battleships typically do. Health stats show 0 shield health, folks. Very interesting mechanic there. And then, of course, 128,000 hull. Folks, 0 shield. Now, you have a player-driven ship like Swarm that totally relies on mitigation and hull. Folks, listen to me. Without shields, 80% more of the non-mitigated damage is going to go to the hull. This is why maximum mitigation will be absolutely crucial to the use of this ship. Now, before you freak, you do have some flat shield health research. For example, the research in the combat tree that's early on, 4,000 flat, added to base and then multiplied by all your other research. So everyone's going to have a teeny tiny little bit of shield, but it's not a great deal. Take a look at the impulse speed. Slow as hell at impulse of only 55 and a warp range early on at warp 31. It doesn't matter right now because territory space is lower than that, but guys, holy smokes, the shield mechanic is huge. Further, take a look at the ship's ability. At level 1, when fighting on a territory capture node during a takeover, so not early, not going early and holding nodes, all right, but during a takeover, weapon damage is increased by 86,000%. This is a Vidar-like ship in that it's super specific on its use, which is attacking or defending a territory capture node during a takeover battle. But boy, it's going to pack a punch during that time. Let's take a look at a more developed account demonstrating the power of research here. A level 1 Sarcophagus at Ops 38 with a good amount of its research done, and the early ship power over 500,000. Now, if we tier it up to tier 2, and level it to level 10, DPR up to 3,747, and more importantly, health increasing the hull massively. Guys, this is tier 2 and almost 1 million hull health points and a teeny tiny bit of shield from research. But before you ask, yes, Spock should help increase these shields and give them some life, but is it worth it? You may look at the increased penetration officers or increased mitigation officers or increased weapon damage officers to combine with this massive ship ability. Or you could let the ship ability stand on its own and focus on survivability, which would involve rebuilding the shields with a Spock build. Some testing is definitely going to be needed here to find the most efficient crew combination on this ship. Now, let's take a look at some build and tier up costs. Tier 1, just to build, nothing crazy. Shipyard 30, by the way, this does require Ops 30 to build this ship, non-scrappable. 12 total tiers and cost the same stuff that battleships would, ore and crystal. Notice a repair currency is called Baconite. We're going to discuss this later, but no longer using trite to repair this ship, but now a new currency that will be refined, limiting the use of this ship somewhat to how much Baconite you're able to receive. We're going to touch on this shortly. Let's upgrade it to tier 2 and take a look. You can see with each level the weapon damage bonus is increasing, but we now start to see the usage of small bits of uncommon materials. But take a look at the repair cost. Only 1,350 Baconite as compared to 24,000 from the first screen. Let's look at them side by side right here. Guys, here's my friendly warning. Do not use this ship at Tier 1. Tier 2 is easy enough to get to, but using it as Tier 1 is literally 10 times more expensive to repair. Not sure why, maybe an oversight, but it is intended. The stat has been verified by LCARS 2.0. Shout out. It's just a blip. Do not use this ship at Tier 1. Go to Tier 2 at least. Now, when you're at Tier 2 and you're upgrading the components, one of these components is going to cost something called an uncommon Black Fleet Memorial. If you're super familiar with Season 1 of Discovery, this is all going to make sense. The entire series of arcs makes sense, actually, with episode titles, Vulcan Hello, The Sarcophagus, Battle of the Binary Stars, Mirror Universe, all of it. It's actually quite well written. Anyway, keep a mental note of this Black Fleet Memorial, as I will touch on it shortly, with the Baconite when we discuss currencies. But here's a key to note. While the ship is Ops 30 to build, you cannot get the uncommon Black Fleet Memorial until Ops 34, meaning several players are going to be limited to using this ship at Tier 2. You cannot get the Fleet Memorial until Ops 34, and then you can proceed to Tier 3 on this ship. Here's a look at the cost of Tier 3. Now, to add even more confusion, the next block of tiers, to obtain Tier 4, you're adding another new currency to the upgrade cost, introducing Duranium. And here's the cost of the next couple of tiers up to 6, and now you're going to see a rare Black Fleet Memorial. This is required to get to Tier 6, so this will limit you at Tier 5, level 25, with all upgrades except for one. And this is where a large portion of the galaxy is going to remain. Why do you say that, DJ? Because now you're ops gated to the rare Black Fleet Memorial, and that gate is Ops 37. You will not be able to refine this material until Ops 37. So level 25 and Tier 5 is where a lot of you will sit, but that's still a decent damage bonus. This image right here shows that you can get a 125,000% damage bonus at level 25. For those of you 37 plus, we continue forward. Just going to quickly show these items, or these images, for a few seconds at a time. Here's Tier 7 cost, and now you can see rare crystal and rare ore coming into the picture. Same thing at Tier 8. Here's Tier 9. Now, to obtain a base Tier 9, you can see another Ops gate. Because to get to Tier 9, now you're going to need an epic Black Fleet Memorial. And the Ops lock on this is Ops 41. As you can see on the next image, Tier 10 components start requiring the use of 4-star uncommon battleship parts. You can't even refine these until Ops 41, but now the costs are getting big. Big time! But notice the slightly diminishing increase on the ship's ability with smaller incremental jumps now. At level 40, which is your max until Ops 37, your bonus ability is maxed at 190,000%. The next image shows the final couple of tiers to Tier 12, and just stupid expensive on the G3 materials. 8,255 rare ore and nearly 1 million G4 uncommon battleship parts. But you do max this ship out at level 60, which packs a 250,000% damage bonus at its max. The next image shows the total cost of building this Tier 12 ship of the dead. Keep in mind, these are base values, and research will likely help. Also keep in mind, while this ship is Klingon, it is not by definition a faction ship, so Klingon faction researches will not help you, as is the case with all event ships ever since the Baby Jelly. One more interesting note that I want to show off here hints at a possible future for territory capture. We know that the territory map right now is incredibly low warp, and we know that this ship has absolutely no purpose outside of an active takeover in Origin space. Then why, Scopely, is the warp range of this ship so high? Notice here at Tier 12, it's got a warp range of warp 100. Does this indicate possible future plans for territories in dark space? One may never tell. Now, at the time of taping this video, the plan for deployment of this ship, and you heard my earlier frustrations about the deployment of this ship, the ship was designed to balance power in territory takeovers. This ship, properly tiered, will be able to schwack G4 ships. Maybe not in one go, but at least making it possible now for G3 players to take out a G4. G4 players can save on repairs by not flying the G4 ship. So, if a lot of players are flying this ship, then research based on ops becomes the major differentiator. Here's the problem. This ship is currently paywalled. This ship will not be available for free during this arc like Discovery was, or even Stella, or even the Vidar. At the time of taping, Panic stated this ship was going to cost $300 US to unlock it during this first arc. Now, for an event ship, this is the first time that an event ship has been paywall during its relevant arc. Now, the players who are going to buy this ship are likely the players who have already paid to have higher powered ships. Thus, by releasing this ship to balance power, you're actually negating that effect by paywalling the ship. Money has always been the source of disparity in power, and by releasing a ship that levels the playing field, that's fantastic. But if money is used to separate those who can obtain the ship, you're literally undoing the balance that is the sarcophagus. And it's not as though the ship BPs themselves are the only monetary factor. I presume you will be able to buy Baconite and Duranium, and not to mention the cost of ore and crystal to upgrade this ship, and then the 4-star uncommon battleship parts. These are materials that also have monetary value, and people will spend on those materials as well. I understand early access, but you could have put the BPs into the battle pass, even if it was at the end of the arc, even at milestone 20, ensuring by the end of the arc or before, free-to-play or even light spenders could get it, following the pattern of every other event ship in the year 2020. You could have put the BPs in to complete the ship, even in the elite track, meaning that players would maybe have to spend $20 to get it, and that is still by definition a paywall, but it's only a $20 paywall, and something a much larger chunk of your players can afford. Better than $300 in packs only. I really wish the balance that you tried to put in this game with this ship was mirrored in by the efforts by the monetization. I think you'd have far more of these ships out there by putting it in the battle pass, and you'd make money on the materials used to upgrade this ship, but you'd still give access to a larger portion of the community and provide some balance to territory capture, as you clearly intended to do with this ship. But the price tag itself widens the gap that you've just closed. I hope that changes can be made by the time the event launches, but if not, you could still consider gifting the BPs at the end of the arc for free-to-play players and let them get started spending on ore and crystal, which are already tight commodities. To paywall a ship 100% during its actual storyline arc saddens me a great deal, and I, for one, know I do speak for the community when I express my extreme disappointment with those chosen methods of deployment. Now, moving forward, if your brains weren't melted enough, let's touch on currencies very quickly, and then we'll be done. Before I get to the new ones, let's discuss the ones we know about. Particles, Quantum, Phantom, and Serax. Well, I'm going to guess that we can kiss goodbye to the easy-peasy mine 100 and get 100 particles thing, because now particles are going to come from activated services in various territories. Take a look at this service. Serax Particle Generator. 100,000 refined Tier 1 isogen, but this activates the service for 7 days. There are also various territories with advanced services. Up to this point, we've only seen them in Tier 3 territories, but now we're going to see those spread out as well. This image shows you an advanced quantum particle generator that costs 10,000 progenitor parts and 200,000 refined Tier 2 isogen, indicating that this service is available in a Tier 2 system. This, in theory, is going to double or at least increase your ability to obtain the particles. What you're going to see is territories now offering numerous additional services to the point where you and your alliance are likely going to have to choose what you do. It's going to be too expensive to keep up all the services in all of your territories, so you're going to have to go shopping. Pick the ones you want, and the ones you don't, put them back on the shelf. Look at this image of Kelfoski. It's a Tier 1 territory, but golly, it's got 5 services. This normal, the normal service is the Armada one, but if you look, you'll see a few new ones. Improved Isogen Refinery for Tier 1 and Tier 2, Sarcophagus Material Forge, and the Quantum Particle Generator. Probably can't afford them all, so prioritize. We're going to get to the Materials Forge in a moment, but let's look at another territory, for example, Herojost, showing the Advanced Quantum Generator. Now, let's look here where the particles are going to come from. This next image shows your territory store and now shows particle generators. This image shows the Serax and the Advanced Serax. Presumably, there are 2 refineries that are going to pay out the Serax particles. One requires the normal service, and the second requiring the advanced service. Is there a benefit to activating and paying for 2 normal particle generators? Not likely, since the refinery only needs to be unlocked one time. So don't waste your money and resources buying 2 of the same service. And yes, we have the rate, which we believe to be fixed for all ops levels, which is a measly 5 ISO emulsion for 100 particles. Still super cheap and easy to get as long as you have the territories. That's at least for the normal one. The advanced one could be more. We haven't been able to peek inside that one yet, but wouldn't it be great if it was the same? Another 5 ISO emulsion for another 100 particles. We shall see. If we follow the pattern of the other advanced services we saw in Arc 3, then these could be identical, basically doubling your output. What's that, folks? What's that you say? You do see METREON particles? Yes, I do too. To the right, we see METREON particles, which will be redeemable in the same way. With this next image, we do see a METREON particle generator available in select territories, all going to be Tier 3, costing 50,000 various progenitor parts and 300,000 Tier 3 refined isogen. The exchange rate is similar, 5 ISO emulsion for 50 METREON particles. Now, real quick, let's go back one image to Klifosky, and we see the Sarcophagus materials fort. Remember, this improved isogen refinery, those are going to make more sense here in a moment, but the materials fort, this is where we're going to get stuff to work on the ship of the dead. Next image shows that it should be available in most territories and costs only 500,000 Tier 1 refined isogen. Do you remember what those materials were? Next image, please, and we're going to see Duranium and the Black Fleet Memorial. Both of these are unlocked by the materials service. We presume that the Duranium forge is going to scale by ops, kind of like the progenitor parts and the ISO emulsion, but the only one that we know at this time is for an ops 38. 465 ISO emulsion will equal 3,775 Duranium. Also, as an FYI, at this ops level, the Black Memorial Fleet, uncommon and rare, also cost 465 ISO emulsion. This would seemingly change by ops as well. But folks, this puts a new and larger imperative on keeping your territory contiguous. By having a fractured territory, you cannot activate buffs in any territory, and this will set you behind in particles. You must either reconnect or abandon one side to be able to activate the services required to refine these materials and particles. Now, there was one other material that was needed at this time and does not appear to be locked behind any type of service, and that's Baconite, the repair currency. So even if you don't have the ship yet, you should start refining this stuff to have a bank of it for when you're ready to start using the sarcophagus. Again, at Ops 38, you can see 20,000 Baconite in exchange for 4,000 Tier 1 raw isogen. Again, super duper cheap. They're just kind of time gating you. It's not even an expense gate, it's a time gate. And from this final screenshot, you can see that it is a 22-hour cooldown on this materials forge. Folks, there you go. Patch D25, the ship of the dead, the Klingon Sarcophagus, and how you'll continue the research as we head into December. Scopely, all I can say is that I hope, in fact, that this does not explode on the Discord. I hope that players get behind this and adopt it, but at such a steep price in the month of giving that is Christmas, that is December, and the fact that we choose this one ship to make a paywall behind out of all the event ships in 2020, I do find to be sad. I hope that this doesn't backfire. I hope that your players get on board, and I hope that the claim that we have seen on the official Discord that territory capture is only for the whales does not get realized. By introducing this ship behind such an extreme paywall, you kind of are confirming that territory capture is indeed for the payers. Making such a strong and invincible ship available behind such a steep paywall does send the wrong message, in my opinion. It does send the message that territory capture is for the payers, and that was never what this entire expansion was supposed to be about. Please reconsider and make this event ship, like all event ships in 2020, available to the entire community. Folks, one last piece of tidbit information that we just picked up is that we have received confirmation that your existing services will not rotate. If right now you are holding Makala, you can rest assured that during Arc 4, it will still continue to provide a mining buff. If you're holding Nearheimer, it will still continue to provide a ship repair bonus. These services, as of the time of taping, are not expected to change during Arc 4. So folks, it's time to jockey for position. If you don't have the position yet, if you don't have the 3 particles yet, now is your chance. Ladies and gentlemen, D25, the Klingon ship of the dead, the Klingon Sarcophagus, is here. Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is UltimatDjz, host of Talking Trek, reminding you to subscribe to our channel, click the little bell, like the video, and leave your comments below. See you guys on the battlefield. Till next time, love you, mean it. See you later. Bye-bye.